No one could explain why the richest man in the company suddenly stopped attending luxury dinners, cancelled private meetings at exclusive clubs, and began spending quiet moments in the forgotten corners of his own building. Employees whispered endless theories. Some believed he was planning massive layoffs. Others thought he was secretly ill. A few even imagined he had discovered someone stealing from the company. But the truth was something no one could have guessed. The billionaire who could buy almost anything in the world had become fascinated by the only woman who never once tried to get his attention. She never chased promotions, never flattered executives, never dressed to impress, and never even seemed to notice the powerful man everyone else desperately wanted to please. Sometimes, the rarest treasure in the world is a heart that refuses to pretend. Before we continue, if you believe kindness still matters, if you believe people deserve second chances, and if you enjoy stories that touch the heart, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks so you never miss another inspiring journey. Nathan Harrison had built one of the country's largest technology companies before reaching the age of 45. Business magazines called him a genius. Investors described him as fearless. His competitors respected him while secretly fearing every move he made. His office occupied the highest floor of a stunning glass tower overlooking the city skyline, yet despite the breathtaking view, his life felt painfully empty. Every conversation seemed to revolve around money, influence, contracts, or personal gain. Whenever someone smiled at him, he questioned whether the smile was genuine or simply directed at his fortune. The higher he climbed, the lonelier the mountain became. His childhood had been completely different. Raised by a hardworking single mother who cleaned office buildings during the night, Nathan had grown up understanding sacrifice better than success. His mother constantly reminded him that wealth could buy comfort but never character. She taught him to respect every worker, no matter their position, because every honest job carried dignity. Those lessons shaped his early years, but somewhere along the relentless climb toward success, endless meetings, billion-dollar negotiations, and public recognition slowly buried those memories beneath layers of ambition. After his mother passed away, Nathan threw himself deeper into work than ever before. Every achievement became another attempt to outrun grief. Awards filled his office. Expensive paintings covered the walls. Luxury cars waited outside. Yet every evening, when the building emptied and silence filled the hallways, he felt the same aching emptiness sitting beside him. On the first floor of the company worked a woman named Emily Carter. She had been employed for almost 3 years as part of the housekeeping staff. Most executives barely knew her name. To them, she blended naturally into the background like polished floors or clean windows. She quietly arrived before sunrise every morning, making sure every hallway, meeting room, and office welcomed employees with cleanliness and warmth. She believed that every person deserved to begin their workday in a place prepared with care, even if no one noticed who had made it possible. Emily's life outside work was far from easy. She lived in a small apartment with her elderly father, whose health had steadily declined after several strokes. Every paycheck disappeared almost immediately into rent, groceries, medications, and hospital appointments. She rarely bought anything for herself. Her shoes had been repaired several times instead of replaced. Her winter coat was nearly 10 years old. Yet she carried herself with quiet dignity that expensive clothes could never imitate. Her kindness reached far beyond her job description. She secretly left handwritten encouragement cards on the desks of employees who looked exhausted. She placed fresh flowers near the receptionist's counter every Monday using flowers she grew herself in small pots outside her apartment. When interns looked nervous during their first week, she offered reassuring smiles that calmed them more effectively than any formal orientation. She never expected praise. She simply believed kindness should never depend on recognition. Nathan first noticed her on an ordinary rainy Tuesday. She never realized Nathan had witnessed the entire moment. There was no audience. No executives nearby. No opportunity for praise. Just genuine compassion. That single moment disturbed something inside Nathan. For days afterward, he found himself thinking about what he had seen. Why would someone with so little willingly give away half of her own lunch? He had spent years watching people compete for promotions, bonuses, and recognition. Yet this curiosity slowly replaced routine. The more Nathan observed her, the more uncomfortable he became with himself. He began remembering his mother's words. He remembered the years when they counted every dollar together. He remembered how proudly. One afternoon, Nathan decided to introduce himself without revealing his identity. Wearing simple casual clothes after work, he entered the company cafeteria where Emily usually ate alone during her short break. He carried a plain coffee instead of the expensive drinks normally prepared for executives. She looked up politely as he asked whether the empty chair across from her was available. She nodded with a friendly smile before returning to reading an old library book. Nathan expected nervousness after introducing himself as another employee from headquarters. Instead, Emily treated him exactly as she treated everyone else. She asked about his day without trying to discover his position. She spoke warmly about her father, her tiny balcony garden, and the satisfaction of helping people feel welcome each morning. She never asked about his salary, his office, or his influence. Their conversation remained wonderfully ordinary. For Nathan, ordinary felt extraordinary. Over the following weeks, those brief lunch conversations became the brightest part of his day. Emily shared stories about growing vegetables in recycled containers because buying fresh produce had become expensive. Nathan listened carefully, surprised by how much happiness she found in life's smallest victories. She celebrated seeing birds outside her apartment window. She laughed about accidentally burning homemade bread. She described caring for elderly neighbors as naturally as discussing the weather. Meanwhile, she remained completely unaware that the quiet man enjoying simple lunches beside her owned the entire company. Eventually, the truth emerged unexpectedly. During the annual company celebration, every employee gathered inside the grand auditorium. Emily arrived wearing her carefully pressed but modest dress, hoping simply to enjoy the evening before returning home to care for her father. When the master of ceremonies announced the company's founder and CEO, Emily watched in complete disbelief as Nathan walked confidently onto the stage. The quiet man from the cafeteria. The simple employee she had spoken with so casually. The richest man in the company. Her heart nearly stopped. Suddenly every conversation replayed inside her mind. Had she accidentally offended him? Had she unknowingly crossed professional boundaries? Embarrassment overwhelmed her. Nathan noticed the shock on her face immediately. After the ceremony ended, Emily quietly avoided him for several days. Nathan understood why. Power changes relationships. Wealth creates distance. Titles build invisible walls. Determined to repair the trust they had built, Nathan approached her gently one morning before work. He apologized for hiding his identity. He admitted that he had wanted one honest conversation free from expectations, compliments, or personal ambition. For the first time in many years, he confessed that someone had treated him like an ordinary human being rather than a billionaire. Emily listened carefully. Although hurt by the secret, she also recognized the loneliness behind his decision. Slowly, their friendship returned. Rumors spread throughout the company with astonishing speed. Employees noticed the CEO greeting a housekeeping employee by name. Executives questioned why Nathan occasionally visited the cafeteria instead of private dining rooms. Jealous whispers echoed through hallways. Some assumed Emily must be manipulating him for financial gain. Others insisted she was secretly planning to secure promotions. The cruel gossip reached Emily quickly. Instead of defending herself publicly, she quietly requested a transfer to another company building. Nathan was devastated when he discovered her request. He realized his presence had unintentionally made her life more difficult. Rather than using his authority to stop the transfer, he respected her decision. But before she left, he visited the maintenance office where she was packing her few belongings. He thanked her. Not for cleaning offices. Not for caring about employees. But for reminding him of the man his mother had hoped he would become. That conversation changed Nathan forever. Over the next several months, sweeping changes transformed the company. Cleaning staff received significantly higher wages. Security guards gained expanded healthcare benefits. Scholarship programs were created for employees' children. Mental health counseling became available to every worker regardless of position. Nathan personally introduced policies requiring executives to spend regular days working alongside frontline employees to better understand their challenges. The company's profits continued growing, but something even more valuable grew alongside them. Respect. Employees no longer felt invisible. Months later, Emily attended a community charity event helping renovate homes for elderly residents. She was surprised to see Nathan there wearing old jeans covered with paint instead of an expensive suit. No photographers surrounded him. No media cameras documented his work. He simply spent the day carrying lumber, painting walls, and serving meals beside volunteers. That evening, as the sun slowly disappeared behind quiet neighborhoods, Emily finally understood. His transformation was real. He had not changed to impress her. He had changed because kindness had awakened the person he had almost forgotten. Their friendship deepened naturally into something neither of them planned. It grew through shared volunteer projects, hospital visits for Emily's father, community gardens, neighborhood food drives, and long walks discussing hopes instead of wealth. Nathan discovered that love felt entirely different when built upon admiration instead of attraction alone. Emily discovered that behind unimaginable success stood a man still carrying the little boy who once waited for his mother to finish cleaning offices late at night. Eventually, Nathan asked Emily to marry him. The proposal happened in the simplest place imaginable. Not aboard a luxury yacht. Not inside a private mansion. Not beneath flashing cameras. He proposed inside the small community garden where Emily had taught neighborhood children how to grow vegetables from tiny seeds. Surrounded by flowers planted with patient hands, she smiled through joyful tears before saying yes. Their wedding reflected the same values that had brought them together. Housekeeping staff stood proudly beside executives. Security guards celebrated beside investors. Kitchen employees laughed beside board members. Every guest received the same warm welcome because every person mattered equally. Years later, visitors entering the company's headquarters noticed a beautiful bronze plaque near the main entrance. It did not honor profits. It did not celebrate awards. It simply read: "The strength of this company will never be measured by the wealth at the top, but by the dignity shown to every person who walks through these doors." Employees often paused to read those words before beginning their workday. Most never knew the full story behind them. But everyone felt their truth. Nathan often stood quietly in the lobby watching people arrive each morning. Executives, interns, cleaners, receptionists, engineers, delivery drivers, and visitors all entered through the very same doors. Looking at them, he understood something success had taken decades to teach him. Money had built the building. Kindness had built the family inside it. Before this story comes to an end, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a heartfelt comment and tell us, have you ever met someone whose kindness completely changed your life? Your story may inspire someone else who is reading the comments today. If this story touched your heart, reminded you that true love sees character instead of status, or renewed your faith in kindness, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, subscribe to Kindness Speaks, and help us spread more stories that remind the world compassion is never wasted. Sometimes the richest person is not the one who owns the tallest building or the largest bank account. Sometimes the richest person is the one whose heart remains humble enough to see value in people the rest of the world overlooks. And sometimes, the greatest love story begins the moment someone chooses authenticity over appearance, compassion over ambition, and kindness over everything else.